In my last segment, I talked about Miss Monopoly, a game for feminists. It's feminist Monopoly where women are given the advantage. Well, not too unlike real life. Wait, not too much unlike from real life? Okay, I don't know what I'm saying. The point is, it's life imitates art. In this story from CNN Business, online harassment is the largest safety concern for female journalists, new study finds. Now that, on its own, I have no problem with, right? If a study finds that the largest safety concern is online harassment, that's good news. It means physical threats and threats of physical violence are not is not the largest concern. That's fantastic. Good news. Good job, everybody. If the only thing we really have to be concerned about is people saying mean things on the internet, I think we've done a great job. What a progressive society. Women no longer have to be worried about being, murdered or beaten in the streets. They just got to be worried about being insulted on the internet. Now, the reason I mentioned the Miss Monopoly thing, for one, I just did a segment on it, but more importantly, why should we care what female journalists face? Journalists in general face things. Now let's be real. I think quantifying data is important. If men and women face different things, great. But should females receive special consideration in the workplace? I believe the answer is no. And I believe life is not fair, and sometimes people say mean things. Now, I'm not trying to justify harassment in no way, quite the opposite. It's wrong and it's bad. But let me make this point. I, as a man, I've seen these feminist posts where they're like, as a woman, when I go out, I'm scared someone will attack me. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, guys are more likely to be the victims of violent crimes and more likely to be victims of harassment on the internet. So why do we act like it's a problem only for women? I actually think it's because our society is sexist and feminism is overtly sexist. I understand there's good feminism. I don't want to say all feminism. It's very complicated. But the point I'm trying to make, the reason our society, in my opinion, tolerates feminism is because of the assumption that women are weak and do need help. Think about it. If a guy comes out and says it's not fair that women win in divorce cases most of the time, they're insulted. Men's rights activists are insulted in the mainstream. Why? Our society still holds traditional gender values in that men are strong and can take care of themselves and women are weak. Therefore, our society tolerates it when we say women are being harassed online. There was a story I did the other day where it was men are broke, uneducated, and failing, and the New York Post framed it as a woman's problem, saying, men being broke is a problem for women. Now they can't find husbands. It also reminds me of that thing, I think it was Hillary Clinton, when she said women are the primary victims of war. They lose their husbands, their fathers, their brothers, and sons or whatever. And it's like, pretty sure the dude who died was the victim of war, but sure, it's all about you. So here's what happens. In a society that inherently views women as weak, women will be handed all of the advantages, and every complaint they make will be treated as the most important thing ever. Why? Because people want to help those who are weak. Therefore, we see stories like this. Let's read this. Online harassment is the largest safety concern for female journalists. Now again, I want to stress, if we're quantifying data, that's fine. If women are concerned about their safety and online harassment is the biggest issue, that's really good news. It's really, really good news. And it's also fine, again, to check out the data. But my point, still stands. Let's read the story. Before we get started, head over to youtube.com/TimCastIRL and subscribe to my new channel. There's going to be behind the scenes, on the ground stuff. Look, it's not going to be newsy, so be prepared for me talking about ordering pizza. I have no idea. But the goal is to travel on the road, meet people on the ground, have real conversations about politics to an extent. So yes, youtube.com/TimCastIRL, subscribe, and let's get back to the story. CNN reports, technology companies could be doing more to help ensure the safety of journalists who face online threats and harassment, according to a press freedom group. Many journalists, especially female and gender nonconforming reporters, are familiar with receiving angry messages, threats, and taunts online in response to their reporting. Yes, and let me add here, because they don't have this context. According to Pew Research, men are more likely to be harassed online. Now, women are more likely to be stalked and sexually harassed, but across the board in terms of threats and general harassment and insults, men are the majority, and men still get stalked and sexually harassed too. It's only a little bit more for women. Let's read. Online harassment is the biggest safety concern facing many female journalists, according to Courtney Reg, advocacy director for the Committee to Protect Journalists. Social media companies have a role to play in monitoring their platforms to mitigate this kind of behavior, she told CNN's Brian Stelter on reliable sources. We don't want journalists to be fearful of reporting on issues. It's not enough to mute or block somebody. You need to know if those threats are coming through, and we need more proactive responses from the tech platforms. Okay, wait, hold on. If it's not enough to mute or block them, because you need to know if the threats are coming through, what do you think tech companies could be doing? Are you saying tech companies should work with law enforcement? Yeah, like if somebody sends you a threat online, that's a crime, call the police. What should the tech company do about it? I mean, archive the post and then call the police. But also, you know, I'm often reminded of that post. I think it was Tyler, the creator, I could be wrong, where he said, how is cyberbullying a thing? Just close your eyes. Just look away from the screen. I have a great solution. You know, look, I've talked with people who have been on the receiving end of online mobs, and it's really crazy how like they freak out and they're stressed and they're having panic attacks, and I'm like, dude, seriously? Just click the X and it's all gone. None of it matters. It's not real life. If someone sends a mean word to you, guess what? Just click the X. You know how many followers? Look, I've got a ton of followers on Twitter. I got 380 something thousand. My notifications are permanently locked at 99 plus. And while the majority of notifications I get are nice, a good portion are really, really, really awful. Some of them are threats. Some of them are really, really creepy. You know what I do? I just don't click them anymore. And that's it. And there's a big old smile on my face. Out of sight, out of mind. But not only that, when I do see them, I just don't care, man. It's like being in high school. It's like someone's like, you know what? Maybe it's just me because I learned at a young age to not care. But somebody would insult me behind my back and I'd be like, I don't care. I just wonder why it matters. If I report a story, guess what? I do videos all the time. I get people saying nasty things about me all day and night. Why does it matter? Why is it a concern for female journalists that people send them mean words? Because it hurts their feelings? Okay, well, grow up. The problem I see with this is that when we look at Pew and we can see that men are more likely to receive harassment online, we don't hear men complaining about it. So why are women complaining about it? There are many reasons you may state. Maybe they're more sensitive. Maybe they're more scared. But this is a big problem for feminism in general. If men receive more threats but don't speak up about it, or it's ignored, either society is discriminating against men or women can't handle the same level of stress men can, which creates a big problem. What do? Do you tell men to pretend to be stressed out more? Do you censor people on the internet to benefit women because women can't handle what men can? Are you implying then that women can't handle what men can handle? Now you're sexist. You see the problem here? I get so much hate online, I just don't care, man. Let's read a little bit more. They go on and mention the survey. Yeah, I get it. It says the report highlights risks journalists face in two countries not often thought to be dangerous to the press. How is it dangerous that someone calls you a mean word? But where 85% of respondents say they feel less safe than they did 5 years ago. Respondents said they faced worse harassment from covering key subjects such as local or national politics or extremism. That harassment from readers and online trolls ranged from unsolicited sexual messages to threats of violence, rape, or death, and also included the publication of reporters' private information online. I'm right there. In fact, I get it worse than all of these people in the survey. I would be willing to bet. That's an assumption, by the way. But I'd be willing to bet I am getting way more threats, harassment, and have way worse security issues than every single person surveyed. And you know what? I empathize. No one should be sending you threats. Nobody should be saying they want to rape or kill you. That's terrifying. However, at a certain point, just call the cops. I don't even do that. Maybe I should. I don't. I don't care. You want to kick my door in and come and whack me in the face with, I don't know, with a brick or something? Whatever, man. I'm just so over it. So many messages every single day. It's hollow garbage nonsense. And what if it's coming from Russia? The point I'm making is I don't know who these people are. It could be one person with 10 accounts. It could be a Russian, someone in a foreign country. But people are acting like it's the worst thing in the world. You want to know what concerns me? What concerns me is like a random guy mugging me in the street. No one's gonna, I'm not. Mean words on the internet is the last thing I'm concerned about. And most of the threats I get, hollow. And if I ever consider them to be real, I just call the cops. And I haven't actually had to do that. I mean, one guy did show up to my house. It's a whole other issue. But They say harassment does not always simply remain online. The survey found it quoted one respondent, a reporter who covers far-right extremism and technology, who said men associated with a large white supremacist group once said on a radio show that if she attended an upcoming rally, she would leave in a body bag. Or how about Antifa, who beats journalists? Okay, you want to play these games? I get it. You report on extremists don't like it. That's not news. You're not special. So look, I'm going to end by saying this. Nobody should be threatening you. Nobody should be harassing you. However, if men are getting more and don't care, answer me this. Are we discriminating against men? You might say no. Okay, if that's the case, then what's the problem? Are you saying then women are weaker than men? According to Pew, men get more harassment. Yet I don't see the stories lining up where they're like, oh, poor men. Answer me why. One more story coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all I will see you all then.